And welcome back to Bayou City Geeks. Thanks for joining us. As always, I am your co-host Bobby Behar, and with me is
Jason Elliott.
Now, this month has been just a smorgasbord of a ton of stuff. First off, let's move past it. We had the election. If your candidate lost, I'm sorry. We feel for you. Trust me, we do. If your candidate won, well...
Hey, congrats.
Okay. I think the important thing now, as we move on to...
to move on.
Is to remember, be good, be nice to one another, don't be assholes. I think the reason that we love comic books and everything that goes along with it is that in the books, good always does win in the end, and it's because we want to be better than what we maybe are. Maybe we take looks in the mirror and see, just what exactly we are doing with ourselves. And that's something that we do love with comic books. With that, I leave that rant behind me now. November saw Doctor Strange come out finally. Oh my god. This movie was fantastic. It was amazing. I put it up there with Guardians and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Yeah. Robert Cargill and Scott Derrickson did a fantastic job. Benedict Cumberbatch was Doctor Strange. I loved Dormammu at the end. If you haven't seen it yet, I apologize for the spoiler, but it's pretty much all over the interwebs. Jason, what did you think of it?
It is... up there with Guardians because it's one of those movies where it was different. You got past the Earthbound heroes, and really, Marvel had to do that because if they started off, say, like with Guardians, or maybe if Guardians was an earlier movie, Strange was an earlier movie, it probably wouldn't have done very well because you have to get used to these heroes and the world that they live in. And
I think they did a great job starting off with Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's a very grounded reality, and then from Iron Man we went to Thor, to Captain America, to the Avengers, and it's these steady...
building.
Thank you. There's very steady building blocks to a much larger...
And they tested the waters also, the thing is, because you just can't jump in with both feet, you gotta look before you leap.
DC, are you listening to what Marvel's doing? And you know what? Speaking of that, I read an article a while back on when DC was going to start doing their movies, and the characters they should have started off with wasn't Batman or Superman, it was the Flash.
Yeah.
And if you look at what the TV shows have done, which we'll get to in a bit, that's what they've done. They started off very grounded with Arrow, moved on to The Flash, moved on to Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl, and it's been these great progressions. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that later because Arrow, I finally got caught up on it, has been fantastic. So back to Doctor Strange. I was right when I called it Inception in a kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
The bending of reality was just mind blowing. And I hate 3D, I hate it with a passion, but if you have not seen it yet, or if you saw it in regular 2D, go out and buy it. Oh, go out and watch it in 3D, it is worth it.
Pay the $15 or whatever. I mean,
yeah.
I saw it 3D, and I'm probably going to see it today again in 3D with a date. And, it's very trippy. I mean, that sequence where... he first, sees his astral projection.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, and then, he just goes and, in all these different, realities. Looks like he's in space. It's like an acid trip. And, for some of my friends who do indulge in the marijuana, told me it was an awesome experience. But, I don't do that. But, it was still, an awesome experience. I mean, the CG was awesome.
God.
I mean, this is probably the best CG we've seen in a superhero film. Or in a Marvel superhero film, I mean.
And you know what? Especially after Civil War, where I thought the Iron Man CG was just a little bit off.
Yeah.
This just knocked it out the park. The other, was there any other aspect of it? Rachel McAdams is great in it.
She's kind of wasted.
But she's wasted. And Marvel has a very bad problem of doing that with this female leads.
You also have a bad problem with the villains too, because Mads Mikkelsen, he was kind of like that cookie cutter villain.
He was very cookie cutter. He was kind of wasted as well, much like Red Skull and Captain America. Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One.
Okay, they whitewashed the casting for this character, but I think she did a more than admirable job, as she does, with
Oh, I thought she did an amazing job. Her and Chiwetel Ejiofor, hey, I got his name right, as Mordo was brilliant casting. He did such a good job.
He reminded me of Sinestro.
Yes, that's what he was. And I think that if Green Lantern had done it better, those are the best villains. The ones where it's the knife in the back, and even then
a slow turn.
The slow turn, but not even that. It's the fact that he is a villain who thinks he's a good guy.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the villains who don't think what they're doing is wrong. They think what they're doing is for the greater good or for the good of themselves.
And those are the better villains. When you look at not Loki, I'm thinking of Sinestro. Sinestro joins starts up the Yellow Lantern Corps because he thinks that fear is the best way to keep order.
Like a Machiavellian stance, like Magneto to Professor X.
Exactly. You are trying to do what you think is best, and by the end of this movie, Chiwetel Mordo thinks that sorcery is a bad thing.
Well, he said too many sorcerers.
Yes.
Too many sorcerers because.
I also have to give it to Benedict Wong for an amazing Wong. I loved Wong in this.
Wong wasn't so passive. I mean, he got out there and fought. I mean, he was very tough. It's funny, when he's listening to Beyonce for the first time.
That was good. There's so many great little moments. I liked the Cloak of Levitation. I have a friend who wasn't a huge fan of it, but I liked it. I liked the little bit of humor that it gave.
Sentient, and,
yeah.
Got him out of trouble.
Now, moving away from the big screen movies and onto the little screen movies, we got Batman: Return of the Caped Crusader, which is an animated version of the 1960s Adam West, Burt Ward. We did get Adam West, Burt Ward, and
Julie Newmar.
Julie Newmar back as Catwoman. I did pick up the special edition, which is Blu-ray, DVD, and the HD, and a mini book, which I have not read yet. But it's basically just a redoing of the book and a lot of other of the comic books that deal with the 60s. I liked it. I give it an 8 out of 10. And maybe it was me, but the voices sounded old.
Yeah, they did.
You
you weren't the only one.
Okay, good. Except for Burt Ward. Burt Ward still sounds his, boyish self, but Adam West and Julie Newmar,
they did sound aged.
They sound, and they did a great job. But it
was like a glove for Adam West. Julie Newmar, she's kind of been away from the character. She's kind of, been out of the spotlight. Adam West, you'll see him. They make Batman references and jokes and everything.
Exactly.
So he's never been able to really escape that character. So it fit like a glove. Same with Burt Ward.
Yeah.
It fits like a glove for both guys. And I love the tongue-in-cheek humor.
There are a lot of tongue-in-cheek jokes and inside references.
And if you watch the show, you see when they break the villains out of prison, you see King Tut and Egghead and the Bookworm and just villains.
Plastic Face and the old school Mr. Freeze and the Robin Hood character, I forget who he was, but Mad Hatter. There were a lot of really great references.
Even Bat Watusi and
I like that they took the Batman and made it a little darker, and touched on a lot of things that as an adult you're like the Commissioner Gordon and the Chief O'Hara are completely inept and completely useless, and they point that out, and bravo on them.
And then when Batman gets whacked upside the head by the Penguin, he sees 3 Catwomen, and one is Eartha Kitt, one is Lee Merriweather, and one is Julie Newmar.
Yeah, I love that. I loved when Batman does go dark and he starts beating up the villains. The bubbles, the word bubble that always come up with the Bam and Biff for fracture, and impale. It was a completely different take on it. I really liked it. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I'll probably watch it a few more times just because the animation was so good.
I'll give myself up on one condition.
What's that?
We run away to Europe together, sip tea in a cafe. and live happily ever after.
Wholly unsatisfying ending.
You know,
Yeah. No.
a lot of Batman.
I totally get it. I like that I do like that it came out when it did. I mean, there was a bunch of stuff I was laughing along with it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Is it, some of the other, like, Teen Titans versus Justice League or Son of the Batman? No.
It wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be. It's not that dark, and if you like the TV show, you're going to love it. If you couldn't do the TV show, then you're not going to be so much of a fan. But if you like the TV show, if you like Adam West, you like Britt Ward, then you will love this. Jumping on to TV. Okay, so the last few episodes, I've been behind on a lot of TV shows. I got caught up because I made myself get caught up. So I'm still a little bit behind on Gotham, but I loved their take on Mad Hatter, and the Court of Owls. I think has been fantastic. In Arrow, I am all caught up. I wanted to get caught up before the 4 episode crossover, which we've seen photos of now, which I will get to in 1 second. Arrow has I cannot think of his name. The guy who played Tyrese on Walking Dead.
Oh, Chad Coleman.
Chad Coleman, thank you. As Thomas Church, I am going to miss his character. He was such a good bad guy.
He was.
Duck. Duck. Goose.
I mean, but one thing I didn't like about it was they did like this thing where they did in Dolomite, where he's fighting and you can see this clearly a stunt man. It's clearly
I
a
missed
fight
that.
double. Yeah, I was looking at it, I was like, okay, that's not Chad Coleman. But you know what? Hey, I digress. I mean, playing the performance, was really what we're focused on, and he was great as Tommy Church.
And like seeing him go from Tyrese on Walking Dead, who's this very sweet, good-hearted
bear of a
person.
guy.
Yeah, just this big bear of a guy, to Thomas Church, who was just like absolute just gang boss.
Merciless.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought he did such a great job, and I really wish they hadn't killed him off, but you have to get to the bigger and badder guy, which is Prometheus. There are a few options out there of who Prometheus might be.
I've heard Oliver's friend Tommy, being resurrected.
Which if you was brought in by the League of Assassins, that could be one way of going it. Merlin might not be able to get over the fact that his son's dead, and maybe he brought him back. Quentin Lance might have a split personality now with his drinking. We'll see. He doesn't have the training, but I mean, he's a cop. He's gonna have some,
Some
training, some self-defense. By the time this comes out, we'll see. We'll delve into that more in the next episode. I like the new team. I like Wild Dog.
Wild Dog, there's Mr. Terrific.
and Artemis.
Yes.
And Ragman. I think that Mr. Terrific, what is his name?
Curtis Holt.
Thank you. Is fantastic. I like the tongue-in-cheekness of the characters, and I like how they brought in the different names. I am really liking this season of Arrow. Yeah. Last season left me like wanting, and now this season is like I said before, a reboot from season 1, and I think it's a completely great take to go on this.
Looks like they could bring Diggle back too, because I've seen some concept art for his new costume.
How far behind are you?
See, I'm just like 1 episode behind, so
because Diggle is back, and he is
okay,
and we have Guardian.
Great.
No, yeah, is Guardian? No.
Guardian's on Supergirl.
Supergirl. It's who is he?
Shit.
Damn it. Failure. Spartan. Ha. Flash was absent this week because of the election, but I like the way that the story's going. I outside of Diggle's son or daughter being changed into his son, which we saw in Legends, Flashpoint hasn't had an effect on Arrow yet.
No, well, it hasn't had a big rippling effect, but I mean, we may see it. Legends of Tomorrow. I don't think it had like that big of an effect on Legends either, because they time hop. So
They time hop, and they're probably in a wormhole, so they were probably like outside the time stream. Speaking of Legends, are you caught up on Legends at all?
Still an episode behind. I know.
Can I give it up for Legends for being for me, Legends and Supergirl are the surprise hits of this year.
Yeah, they're very underrated because Flash and Arrow, they were the first.
They were the first. They dominated.
They get all the press. So.
But Supergirl had a very rough first season, which a lot of shows do. But Supergirl and Legends are taking on hot topics: illegal immigration, slavery. That the Civil War Legends. Really, they pushed it, and good for them.
My name's Jackson. Jefferson Jackson.
Those are some pretty famous slave owners you named for Jefferson.
Look at his hands. Have you ever worked a day in your life?
I think things kind of get pacified and kind of like on TV, like, oh, this might be
glossed over too, because the thing is, it's network TV. They don't want to push any buttons and they want to be PC.
And Legend has been pushing it this season, and good for them.
Yeah.
Gender equality.
Women actually wore these things in the 80s?
Shoulder pads? Yeah, they're supposed to make women more imposing, more, I don't know.
Manly?
Yeah.
I'd hope that by this decade, women wouldn't need to use clothing to compensate for their status. Surely by now, men and women are considered equals.
Never lose that optimism.
Lucifer has been, once again, like a standard, like I always keep with Lucifer. Has been a great show. Has a fantastic cast, and I love where they're going with the fallen angels and what really, who you really are as a person does not, just because you are the devil doesn't necessarily make you a bad guy, and I like that.
Being me seems to be a problem. Everywhere I go, someone gets hurt.
Anything you want to touch on?
No, I mean...
Did we kind of touch on everything?
Good.
In 2 weeks, we do get the 4-episode crossover that brings Supergirl into the Arrowverse. I hate Captain Steel's costume with a passion. My God, the shoulder pads and the gauntlet. I mean, dude, they've done such a great job on all the shows with the costumes, and yet this is just a huge failure, and it upsets me.
I guess you can't win them all.
Yeah, the best baseball player hits 3 out of 10, so I guess 9 out of 10 is good for them. Supergirl, are you watching Supergirl?
Yes, I am, and that is one of the shows I do look forward to. Superhero or non.
Yeah, Maggie Sawyer. They did a fantastic job casting her. Now, if by the time this comes out, we'll be in episode 2 after. They never really clarified of Alex Danvers' sexual orientation.
No.
And I thought that the way that they put her with Maggie, you kind of see it coming. It's like, oh, okay, this is going to happen. And when it does happen, it's really natural and really organic. And I like when things are organic and not shoehorned in.
Or just like all of a sudden you see them in bed together.
Exactly. Like, how'd this happen? It's a slow burn. It's a slow progression. When it does happen...
And you're happy for her.
And you are. And especially when Alex Danvers says how she's never felt...
she didn't like intimacy.
She didn't like intimacy. She didn't like, now, and there's that very like, I get it now.
But the one part of my life that I've never been able to make perfect was dating.
You remember she almost had a thing with Maxwell Lord in the early first season.
It almost, yeah. And
nothing since. So
nothing, and it was just like...
It was always Kara who was, the one that was, being pursued, it was Wynn, and then it was...
there was Wynn, there was her real-life husband, Kat's son.
Oh, yes.
There was Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, so...
And now, kind of Mon-El.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. I mean, which I do like Mon-El. I think he's been a great addition, especially since we lost Tyler Hawkins. Hecklin, thank you. His Superman, which I really miss. I thought he did.
He's gonna come back. Trust me.
He's got to. It was such a good run. I like Jimmy Olsen in Power now, but I love Snapper Carr. Is it Paul Gomez?
Yeah. Yeah. He's such a. He's like one of these characters that like you just love to hate, but he's not trying to be a hateful guy. He's
an old school journalist.
Yeah, and he, is, trying to teach, Kara that, hey, this newspaper stuff is not as easy as you think it is. You got to go out there, get your hands dirty, get doors slammed in your face.
Developing sources. Good. Your nut graph is too long. You have multiple run-on sentences. You're not using AP style. Write it again.
Well, and I think this goes back to how Supergirl and Legends have both been trying to put a spotlight on I don't want to say injustices per se, but certain issues. And I think with Snapper, what we're seeing is him going, hey, not him, but like the show's going, media, do your job. If you feel your emotions getting into it, take him out and report. And I love the fact that Carr was becoming a bit of a pundit, and he said that's not news, that's not journalism, that's your opinion, and we don't want that. We need the news. Do you have the sources? Do you have the facts? And I love that. Comics. We're gonna change it up a bit. We're still working out the kinks on this show, mainly because I'm the one editing it and taking a bit to edit. So we're gonna switch up to, instead of comic of the week, we'll do a comic of the half month so far. What do you have as your? I know one of them. You brought this up like twice now as your issue.
Hey man, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps. I mean, ever since Jeff Johns started his rebirth, I mean, this book has been consistently great. With the storyline that they have now, supposedly, Hal Jordan has died after his battle with Sinestro, and you got the Green Lanterns and the Yellow Lanterns working together, and now his daughter, is now the leader, I guess, or the de facto daughter. Yeah, Sinestro's daughter is now the de facto leader of the Yellow Corps, and she's trying to I guess bring the two together because they had to the Starro actually threatens Tomar 2's planet, and so they have to go back there and they work together, and and it's kind of like some conflict between her and John, since they used to go out with each other, so. And I think he's now the de facto leader of the Corps now that, Hal is missing, so...
I like John Stewart being a de facto leader. I think...
Of course, he's hard-nosed, he's no nonsense. Yeah. I mean, he cares. He's not the... He's just a very different, Lantern than, Hal Jordan. I mean, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does.
Right.
As this leader and, dealing with the former Flame, so...
It's always tough. What else you got?
All right, I have Back to the Future, number 14. I love Back to the Future, favorite movie of mine, and I see that they were doing a series, so I had to pick it up. Now, there's a lot of stories that can be mined from this, and I mean, as much as I love the 3 films, I do not want to see a remake. I do not want to see a spin-off. I do not want to see a continuation. I mean, 3 was done, and it should stay like that. And with this one, with the comics, sure, you can, bring back, Marty and Doc, set it in 1986. And this one has a storyline where there's another doctor that was, working on time travel. And basically, they wanted Doc for his experiment, but he turned it down. So basically, this doctor, Professor Irving, got, Marcus Irving, he got the research, and took him so many years, and he's been obsessed with trying to crack time travel. Now that he knows that Doc
that's cracked
it, now he wants to say combine research. He comes in peace, but
right.
My next comic is Power Man and Iron Fist. Now with Luke Cage coming out, this really was one of my comics that I just had to read. I enjoyed Luke Cage. You know, and I enjoy, you know, the Cage miniseries that they have, and his Power Man and Iron Fist. I mean, it's almost kind of like Batman and Cape Crusaders, where they get all of Cage's Rogues Gallery. You know, there's like a piece of software.
Yeah. What
it does is it changed it to where people who didn't even commit crimes, who were innocent, they were in jail, and the ones who needed to be in jail, they were out. So they're trying to track down this person who made this software. And, you know, it's awesome. And, you know, you got Black Cat. She's returning to her old ways. And
well, that happened in Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah.
And so she's, you know, trying to be a crime boss. And,
yeah,
you know, the dynamic between the two, Power Man and Iron Fist, is always great. I'm eager to see if the Defenders will bring any of that to, I mean, I'm sure they will, just how well they do in the execution.
Yeah. That's always an important thing. One last book. We'll do.
All right, one last book. I gotta say, Lost Boys. Yeah, I'm really liking the storyline here.
Yeah,
Michael has come back. You know, I mean, I don't know how that is possible, but you know, Michael has come back. I mean, Sam and the Frog Brothers are trying desperately to defeat him. You know, Wilford Brimley's character, dead. You know, in the last issue, which kind of sucked because I liked him, and you know, because of that line, and I mean, that made me love his character with the line that he has in the first movie. I like Santa Clarita, except for all the damn vampires.
Yeah,
and it's like, asshole, you knew all along.
Right, exactly.
But this one is, you know, it's DC Vertigo, so I mean, they can, you know, they curse and you know, see a lot of violence and everything. It's pure Lost Boys. Anybody who loved the movie or remembers the movie, pick this book up if you love it. You know, if you want to see Corey Haim's memory carried on.
Good.
You know.
I think one of the books you had in there that I also loved is All-Star Batman. That's been a great run. Mine for this month, for the past few, outside of the fix, is another Aftershock book, Rough Riders. Rough Riders has been a great run. I think I brought up issue 5 or 4 earlier. It's been a great run with Henry Steele and Houdini and Edison and Teddy Roosevelt and Annie Oakley. It's been a great run. Number 7 ends with quite a great shocker, and I think 8 will be another pickup. The book, I love this book. I do. I wish that they didn't have so many guest artists or guest writers, but Spider-Man Deadpool. This one was written by Penn Jillette, who actually did a really great job of poking a lot of fun at himself and Teller. I think the dynamic between Spider-Man and Deadpool always kind of writes itself. But I really wish Casey and Ed McGuinness would kind of, I don't know.
Did you ever see the episode of Spider-Man?
No, but I've seen a ton of the memes, and yeah, they're fantastic. Next book, I was very cautious about it. I was very hesitant about it, but Marvel Civil War 2. Much like Civil War, it poses a great question. Just because you can, should you? Civil War 1 was dealing with the Patriot Act, and whether we should be whether the superheroes should be registered and give up your identity. Civil War 2, they find an Inhuman who can supposedly see the future, and it becomes very much a Minority Report. Just because you can see a future, does that mean that future is going to come to pass? And will that necessarily happen? And should you act on just that one future, or should you wait to see, see what happens? Out of this, we've seen She-Hulk kind of crippled emotionally. We saw Rhodey Rhodes' War Machine kill at the hands of Thanos. We saw Hawkeye kill and take out the Hulk. And now we see Miles Morales' Spider-Man, a future of him killing Captain America, and should he be arrested? And the one lone voice of reason outside of Tony Stark going, no, this hasn't happened yet, was T'Challa's Black Panther saying, I'm done. We cannot arrest people just because of what they might do. That's not how we work. And I thought that's been
and he's always been, Black Panther's always been an outsider.
He's always been the outsider. He's always been that, you have the angel, you have the devil, and then you have that one little other, well, maybe, and also I've been getting these covers. The Cho Davila covers have just been fantastic. I love the artwork.
And this particular issue is drawn by David Marquez, a fellow UT grad.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Cool.
You know, I used to see him drawing like the ceiling tiles and funny papers, and
That's him.
yeah,
Yes. Okay, then.
very good guy. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. We
There
wish
you go.
him much success, Dave. Hey, I'll be talking to you soon.
And I gotta go. This is number 1, so let's see how this does. But the new Invincible Iron Man with
It was sold out by the time I got to the store.
You know what? There are, I'm sure, some stereotypical tropes that some people might not like. If she comes from inner city.
Of course.
Of course, inner city.
But that goes to show you she's rising above her humble beginnings.
There's that. Her best friend and her stepdad are gunned down by gang violence at a picnic. So, I mean, yeah, there is that, but there's also the fact that, she is an insanely intelligent person.
And that's what's most important. The thing is, I wrote a piece when they, this cover number 1, they said that they were sectionalizing her. And I don't really think it was. I mean, come on, dude. J. Scott Campbell's done way more provocative stuff.
He has, but she's 15. I think that's the problem. Like, if it was Psylocke, no one would care. Okay, fine. If she's like an adult,
Lady Death, nobody would
no one care. But she's a 15-year-old who's stepping up.
Yeah, that's true. But hey.
So those are the books. There's a ton of other great books. Death of X has actually been pretty good. Amazing X-Men has been really good. Ninja Turtles has been really good. Archie has always been solid. So we'll see.
Good.
We'll see what comes out in the next 2 weeks to see what gets on our list for end of November. So let's see. We did movies. We've done TV. We did comics. Now, our one-offs. The one thing that we brought today, action figure, video game, album. I will say this. I purchased the Kaleo album. There's just been on a bunch of TV shows right now. It's Kaleo. If you haven't downloaded it, download it. It's bluesy.
The devil's gonna make me a free man. The devil's gonna set me free.
It's gritty.
You can't fight the temptation when you get the vibration. Won't do you no good. It won't do you no good.
It's awesome.
And where down we go, oh, 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 where down we go, oh, 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 oh.
Jason, what's your one-off?
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Now, I love Call of Duty.
Love it too. The thing is, I'm going to say this, and this is not going to make me a popular person with people, but hey, you know what? It's just my opinion.
How dare you have an opinion?
Yeah, I know, right? Ooh. But, I mean, I feel that this game here, it's good. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10, but I feel that Activision might want to slow down on the yearly releases because the thing is, you kind of run the risk of running this franchise on the ground. Now, I know that this game is probably going to sell a lot of copies, and hey, that's great. But it's just like, Civil War. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And the thing is, I would like to see this franchise just kind of go away for about 2 years. 2 or 3 years, and then just come back strong because I've been getting fatigued. I mean, it's just like, playing all these games, and then, it's like, okay, then another one's coming out. Call of Duty is not a sports franchise. With sports franchises, rosters change all the time. So I can see that, with, the WWE games and stuff like that, and NBA, NHL, Madden, rosters change all the time, new rule changes,
right.
Stadiums upgrade, all that kind of stuff. But with Call of Duty, I like the, the futuristic setting, the play control is great, the mechanics are great. I just feel that after playing this game, it's kind of like one of those movies that when you watch it, you're probably not going to remember much about it. It's just like, okay, it's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I had a good time.
All right.
Ready to move on to something else.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll be getting it for Christmas, so I'll play it and try to tell you all about it then. I finally finished Uncharted 4. I finished it within like 2 weeks. It was an amazing game. Love that ending.
Yes. It was a great ending. I love that it gives a... now, doesn't mean that they probably won't make another one.
Because there are 10 years in there that you can play with.
Yeah.
But I loved the happy ending they give everyone.
And I wonder what happened to Nadine, because that was a bad bitch.
That's true. She can always come back.
Yeah.
Like I said, you have 10 years to play with. All right, my one-off. It finally came in the mail, people. I've been waiting shit, almost a year now for it. Actually, if it had been pushed off 1 more year, I've been waiting a full year for it. My Sideshow Collectibles Batman with the tech cowl and sniper rifle. By Sideshow. Once again, Sideshow, you should be sponsoring me because I love your stuff.
You can give me free stuff too, you know.
Yeah. The Batman is insanely detailed.
Sure is.
I'll throw pictures up as I go over this. Once again, Sideshow does an amazing way of just making everything detailed.
You got Ben Affleck's chin.
You got Ben Affleck's chin. I mean, it's kind of hard to miss the chin.
Well, that's true.
The great thing about it is you probably can't see very well, but it's padded, so it is like a bulletproof. You feel the Kevlar. They do a great job at the mask. They have a great amount of detail with the accessories, as you know, Sideshow is one to do. And this one, because I pre-ordered it early, and I get the tech cowl, which is
from the dream or the hallucination, I guess. Or?
No, this is what Alfred is working on, because that's what.
Oh, okay.
Because there's the voice modulator, and I now know where this is from too, Justice League, because the eyes come out. There we go. I like do a payment plan, so I pay for these throughout the year. So I do not have the money to just drop on it all at once. So it's like one of those slow burns for me, but entirely worth it. You got the leather cape that is frayed at the bottom with it's frayed and has dirt on it. So apparently he doesn't have a very good dry cleaner. Alfred, come on now.
It looks like a little torn and tattered, a little battle damage.
Exactly. It's a great great sculpt as usual. Sasha does an amazing job. So bravo. So if you have the $220 for this, pick it up. I mean, hey, you know, these actually do once they start making them, they actually do go up in value pretty well. So it's also a nice investment. That's what I tell myself, nice investment. But also I kind of pay it down throughout the year, so totally worth it. All right, that's it for this week.
Make sure you watch the SNL Dave Chappelle if you haven't already.
Oh man, fantastic. With that, Jason, great episode. Remember, people, be nice, be kind, love your neighbors, love people, don't hate. There should be no room in your heart for hate.
No, none whatsoever.
And with that, we'll see you on the Funny Papers.
Hey, check us out at YouTube, BayouCityGeeks@gmail.com.